disperseels. Hi, sweeties, and welcome back to my channel. Today is Tuesday, July 1st, so I'm just going to pick up where I left off last time. So the last time I told you about the first 2 days, I think. Let me just grab my phone so I can look at some pictures. And today I am going to tell you about the last 2 days. So it's basically, it's kind of like my travel vlog, isn't it? So, it is, last time I told you about going through Haarlem City, and this time I am going to tell you about Sunday and Monday. But hold on, before I get started, I just wanted to say that yesterday Chris and I had a party with our family to celebrate our 1-year anniversary. So I am pretty tired, and you can probably tell. We got home really, really late from Amsterdam, and my voice is still a little bit low, even though I woke up quite a while ago, but I'm just tired. So yeah, so on Sunday I hear an ambulance. Is it coming here? Are you serious? I don't hear ambulances often. Okay, whatever. So on Sunday, Chris's family came over from Amsterdam because they were staying in an Airbnb in Amsterdam. And Sunday, at least in my hometown, the stores open later during the day, and they also close a bit earlier. So they got here at the station around 10 a.m. on Sunday morning, and then we decided we wanted to go for brunch. So we decided to bring them to Bagels and Beans, which is my favorite place to go for lunch that I've been going to for a long time. If you've been with me for a long time, you've heard me talk about it in previous videos. So yeah, we walked through Haarlem, or Haarlem, because it's a double A, and I showed them around, and I told them a little bit of the history of certain buildings. And overall, it was just a very peaceful morning. Once we got to, that was a tractor passing by, since we're not far from farmland, as you know. Well, as you might not know, we're not far from farmland. So once we got to the brunch place, we decided to sit outside. And that day it was going to be 22 degrees Celsius. But in the morning it was still pretty chilly. And in the street that we were sitting in, the Gierstraat, where they had some tables outside, there was a little bit of a wind tunnel. So I got a little bit chilly while we were sitting there. So I decided to order my favorite tea again, which is fresh mint tea with honey. I didn't take a whole lot of pictures, but whatever pictures I have, I will try to kind of intertwine with this video, like I've done so many times before. So yeah, I got the carpaccio bagel, and Chris did as well. Chris's family's never tried carpaccio. It's really thinly cut sliced meat, steak in particular, and it's really, really good on sandwiches. One of my favorite things. So after we had a very tasty brunch, I walked them around. We started at the beginning of the shopping street, which is well, I always call it the beginning, but it's the beginning is the furthest away from Central Station, Haarlem Central train station. And I showed them around. I also told them a little bit of like, oh, this store used to be here and this used to be here, because a lot has changed, especially since COVID. A lot of the original shops, stores that used to be there are no longer there. So yeah, show them around, and I also brought them to a cheese store, and they had no idea that you could just walk into a cheese store and ask to sample things. So we sampled some cheeses, and they fell in love with a Dutch truffle cheese, which I've never even tried. It was so good. And after that, what did we do after that? Yeah, we just made our way through the shopping street slowly, because by this time things opened up, and they did a little bit of shopping, checking out different stores, and they very quickly discovered that they like Haarlem a lot more than Amsterdam in many ways. Because Haarlem isn't as busy, but it's just as cozy, and you get just as much variety in terms of stores. Well, not as much variety, but just as good of a spread in terms of different types of stores in Haarlem as you do in Amsterdam. So they completely fell in love with my hometown, and Chris's younger sister is secretly hoping that we're moving back, so she has a place to visit when she wants to come back. Everyone wants to come back. It's funny how they didn't know when I moved to Canada how nice it is here, and I didn't know how nice it was here either when I was younger, when I moved to Canada, because I took the Netherlands completely for granted. Sometimes you only know what you had once you leave it behind. So yeah, it's very peaceful. They really like it. They obviously really like the canals, the food, the air, the water, really tasty water. So once we explored the first half of the shopping street, because it's kind of like the first half and then there's a road and then the second half, we some people just wanted to do, people wanted to do different things. So me, together with Chris and his uncle and dad, we decided to sit at a cafe called De Roemer on the Botermarkt, which is a cafe I used to go to a lot as a student when I was in high school. But it's also a cafe I used to go to with my dad, and we used to drink hot chocolate in the winter with whipped cream, which is one of my favorite things to do. So yeah, that's where we went, and I ordered a platter of different deep fried Dutch snacks that they could try. And then after a little while, more and more people joined us because they were done doing the things that they wanted to do. And once everybody had a drink, we continued on to explore the second part of the city, the shopping streets. So, yeah, another hour later or so, we finally made it to Haarlem Square. And there was some sort of basketball tournament going on that was sponsored by one of the Dutch banks called the Rabobank. So, and it was really hot at this point, so we were just sitting there. It must have been like 3:30-ish. Excuse me. 3:30 about, give or take. So we just sat there on a patio and had some more drinks. I was just drinking water and tea because it's way too warm. I don't drink alcohol anymore anyways, but especially when it's that hot, I'm very happy that I don't drink anymore. So yeah, they did some more shopping. We watched a little bit of basketball and just enjoying the Haarlem Square. You hear that fly? There's flies in the house because the door has been open quite a lot. So yeah, then around 5 o'clock, we wanted to have dinner around 6. Around 5 o'clock, I decided to go to the restaurant and made a reservation because I have an eSIM card while I'm here, so my phone number doesn't work, so I couldn't call them. So I walked over there, made a reservation for an hour later, and then at 6 o'clock we had dinner. And on Sunday, our friends from Vancouver came over. They landed that day. So they flew from Vancouver to Toronto and then from Toronto to Vancouver with their 1.5-year-old baby kid. Not really a baby anymore, but it's still kind of. So they landed and they checked into Amsterdam and then they took the train to Haarlem as well. So they were there with Chris's family. And then we had Misha, our Russian friend, that was there, and we ate at Brussels. Now, last year, when Chris and I went to Brussels, I talked about how it used to be our favorite restaurant, and we really felt like it went downhill a lot. But this time around, it was actually really, really good again. So I think that last year, the chef probably just had a bad day, and we were unlucky that we were there on that day, and that led me to think that it went downhill and that it wasn't as good anymore. But it turns out that this time around, we ordered the same things again like we always do. We had the carpaccio, the escargots, and then the lamshaas, which is a really soft part of the lamb with pesto that they make in-house, and salad and fries. This time it was really, really good again. So I'm so happy that we brought them there and that they got to try our favorite restaurant in Haarlem. And then after we were done eating, must have been around 8 or 9, we walked them back to the station, the train station. And they took the train back to Amsterdam. And then Misha was staying at the hotel at Haarlem Square. So, yeah. He went to his hotel, and then we decided to just walk back, which is about half an hour, I would say, to get back home. But at this time we were already really tired because we walked around 9 kilometers that day, just slow walking through the city. So yeah, it was a very good day. And now I will tell you about yesterday, which was Monday, and that was our 1-year anniversary. Let me have a look. Yes, Monday. Let me just grab some water real quick, because it's really, really hot today for Dutch standards, and I'm sitting in the front of the house where all the glass windows are, and despite the fact that the curtains are closed, it is really, really hot. So I'm gonna get something to drink and I will be right back. So it's a little bit later now because Marianne came home and I was just hanging out with her, talking with her for a bit. Marianne, my foster mom. So I'm going to continue now with the second part, in which I'm going to tell you how my 1-year anniversary was. So that was yesterday, and we aimed to be at the restaurant at 5 o'clock. And we had the rest of the day to just kind of relax. So during the day we went to the supermarket and we got some things to put on bread, my daily, my favorite deli meats and stuff like that we ate today. It was also really, really hot yesterday, like very hot for Dutch standards. So yeah, we went to the supermarket, and after that we came back. Let me just relax a little. There we go. So Chris had to do some work, and I was just playing some games on my phone, just chilling. And then we got ready around 4 o'clock, so I put some makeup on and I put my dress that I wore. It's a white dress that I wore on the dinner that we did on our wedding day. So I did not bring my wedding dress because that dress had a whole train and 3 layers and like way too warm. So I just brought my dress that I wore at the dinner after our actual wedding last year, which is like almost like a bohemian white summer dress. If you are on Instagram or Facebook and you follow me on there, you will have seen that by now. But like I said, I will try to put some pictures in between these videos, in between the things I talk about, so you can see it. So yeah, once we were dressed up, we stepped in the car, we drove with my foster parents, and then we stopped at a flower stand here in my hometown because Chris wanted to buy me a rose, so I got a red rose, and off to Amsterdam we went. So we celebrated our 1-year wedding anniversary at a restaurant called Zest. And Zest is a restaurant that we became familiar with through our good friend that passed away not last year, I believe, but the year before that, S.G. Collins. If you've been in the ASMR community from a long time, you know him. He also has a YouTube channel, and he was a very close friend of Chris and me that we always used to visit in Amsterdam. But since he passed away, we usually don't go to Amsterdam anymore when we go here. But he is the one that introduced us to the owner, who is Bulgarian, of the restaurant called Zest in Amsterdam. So he allowed us to do a party there, and we rented out the whole restaurant. His name is Hubie, and he has a microbrewery in the back, and especially for us, I requested if we could have a fixed menu with some Bulgarian dishes that are normally not on the menu, because we've tried those before at his restaurant, and then he took them off the menu because not enough people ordered them, and then the food would go bad. But I remember that food very specifically, so we had a fixed menu with some different things that you would normally not be able to eat at that restaurant anymore. So yeah, once we got there, we parked our car close to the restaurant, and then we walked. It was only like a 5-minute walk, but I was, all of a sudden when I got out of the car, I was so anxious because it's just so surreal. Like, obviously, Canada, the Netherlands, they're two different continents, so our family has never met. When we had our wedding last year, the immediate family of Chris's was there, and my foster mom was there, but nobody else was there. So we were only with like 12 people. It was like a micro wedding. So my foster mom has met, Chris's parents and his sisters and stuff like that, but no one else has ever met. So I was, all of a sudden, it just really hit me how surreal it is to see Chris's family intertwine with, all the images and memories that I have of the Netherlands. So yeah, when I got there, I was still very, very nervous and anxious, but it subsided pretty quickly. It took like 10-15 minutes, and then I was okay again. So it was really cool to see everybody mix and talk with each other, and Chris's parents were finally able to meet my grandma that is still around. Of course, my grandpa passed away last year. So yeah, it was just, we had basically a cocktail hour, for lack of better words. Not that a lot of people were drinking that much, but just walking around and people getting to know each other.
Toen had ik inmiddels wel de bank.
And then everybody sat down, and then the orders were taken, and then we started off with some appetizers, which was the Bulgarian trio. So it was a bean salad, something that was very similar to tzatziki, but not quite. And another one was roasted pepper spread, and that was served with bread. And then we also had 2 different types of cheeses, and the Dutch bitterballen, which are like ragu and gravy in one ball, breaded and then pan fried or deep fried with mustard. Really, really good. You dip it in the mustard and then eat it. So that was the appetizer, and because it was so hot, it was 28.5 degrees Celsius in the restaurant. So luckily they also had some tables outside, so every time in between meals we would go outside and just enjoy the breeze, because a lot of restaurants and hotels and Airbnbs in the Netherlands do not have AC. But with the climate changing, at least with the weather getting warmer and warmer, it's becoming harder and harder. So we were very happy that we could sit outside and enjoy the breeze. And then after the starter, we had the main course, which for me was a Bulgarian vegetable stew, which had a very soft feta cheese, eggs, mushrooms, zucchini, carrot, onion, and then I think a little bit of tomato and stock. It was really good. It was served with bread. I ate the stew, but not the bread. It was just, the bread was too much. And for dessert, I had a carrot cake, and it was honestly the best carrot cake I've ever had. It was so moist, and it was really, I know that some of you really don't like that word, but it was the perfect balance of, texture, and yeah, it was really, really good. So, yeah, we took a lot of pictures with family, and we got some gifts, and my aunt and uncle, so my uncle is the brother of my dad, they gave me a speech, which made me really emotional. I usually don't really become emotional publicly, not because, but like something usually doesn't hit me until after, but yeah, I definitely got emotional. It caught me completely off guard. I had no clue that they were going to give us a speech. And then after that, they sang for me as well a Dutch song that I have not heard in, it must be like 2 decades. So yeah, overall, it was a very, very special day. Very special day. And I feel very good about the fact that the family has finally met. And that they now know where I'm coming from. So when we're back in Canada and I talk about the Netherlands, they will now know what I'm talking about, which is so cool because they've experienced it. So yeah. Oh, sorry. By the time we came back home, it was 1:30 a.m. And I usually go to bed between 10 and 11. So 1:30 a.m. was really late for me. And because we sleep upstairs, we're in my foster parents' house. And we sleep upstairs, which is also the side where the sun goes down. The room is really, really warm. So I haven't been getting the greatest sleep. So I think it's now finally catching up with me of going to sleep late yesterday. And then the nights before that, I have very broken sleep. Oh my goodness, my yawning might actually help you put to sleep. Maybe I'll rub off on you. So anyways, I'll leave it at this. Today, I don't know if we are going to, but Chris and I might rent bikes that we can return tomorrow morning. And then we might go to the beach, but because it is so hot today, I don't know if we will or if we won't, or if we'll just, chill here. Tomorrow we are going to take the train to Paris. And then we're going to stay there for a few nights. See, tomorrow we're going to go. So it's from the 2nd to the 3rd, the 3rd to the 4th, 4th to the 5th, and the 5th to the 6th. And then on the 6th in the morning, we have to take the train and we're going to go to Germany for a day and a half. So it will be 4 nights. And our friends from Vancouver will also be going to Paris on the 3rd. So we're going to have dinner with them on the 3rd. And then on the 4th, we are going to have lunch at the Eiffel Tower. And then on the 5th, I would like to go swimming. Because, yeah, like I said, it's going to be even hotter than it is here today in Paris. So, yeah, we had to cancel our Airbnb because of the hot temperatures. And we booked a hotel instead that had AC. Because it's not going to be doable to stay in Paris with the temperatures that are currently predicted. So anyways, I don't know if I will have time to film another video for you while I'm in Paris and then Germany. If not, I will just talk about that once I'm back in Toronto. So this is probably going to be like a 3-part video. The first one that I made a couple days ago, that I published last week, and then this week we have this one, and then next week will be probably the last part. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for being here and for hanging out with me, and I will see you again next week.